Alright, said I was going to make a video about this brooder. I've been pushing it off because I've been testing it more. I've now ran 3 sets of chicks through it. I feel like I have collected my thoughts enough that I can tell you everything that I absolutely despise about this brooder compared to my homemade one that's laying on the floor full of chicks that's been working fantastic for me. Many annoyances. Okay. The first thing, obviously you can see all of the food that's being wasted. There is nothing about this feed tray that's good. It doesn't snap in place because this plastic just gets distorted from having chicks in it. That's a huge problem, number one, is food waste. I'm trying to mitigate food waste as much as possible. Yes, I understand they are chicks, they're brand new, they've only had their brain for a couple days, and they don't really know what they're doing. They've got to make a mess. I understand that. They say this brooder is rated for up to 30 quail. Now, I've ran up to 45 in it so far. I think their numbers are completely skewed. I would think at max 20 birds in this thing. Would you guys chill out over there? Yeah, this thing is not big enough for running 30 birds. Specifically, 30 jumbos. I am running jumbo Caternix pharaohs, so all of my birds do grow a larger size. They hatch out a little bit larger size. But yeah, no way is this rated for 30. So, using the feed tray that makes a giant mess, number one, you can't use it right off the rip. They send you these, I wouldn't call this a feeder, but they advertise it as a feeder. It holds about 6 tablespoons. They send 3. If you want to fill this up every 30 minutes, all 3 of them, yeah, I guess sure you could use it, but no, I'm not doing that. I want to be able to come check on the birds once, maybe twice a day. That includes their food and their water and their heat. So number one, the feed tray system, both that come with it. This is no. What I have been doing is using a traditional chick feeder that you can buy at your local feed stores. Depending on how many birds you're running in it, I actually put both of these in here. And I do that for 2 different reasons. Number one, these spill less food. Number 2, and I will get to the next point here, is about heat. I run both of these in the feeder, or in the brooder, and I set them like this. Because the heater that's in this thing is completely inadequate. Now, I realize, you can see my breath right now. It's 41 degrees in here, according to my Govee, that I normally keep inside the brooder, because I want to know what temperatures are doing. This heater is completely inadequate. I'm in an insulated room, and it's 41 degrees in here. All of my other birds are doing just fine. When I run my homemade brooder, I'm using a traditional heat lamp sitting on top of it, and putting the Govee inside. I've got a wide area that will hold heat. With this heater that's in here, I can put the Govee in any one corner, and it's 10 to 20 degrees below what the heater is set at. The only way that that heater gets an accurate heat number is if the Govee is set directly underneath of the heater. Well, even if you were running 30 birds, that heater is only this long. So all of the birds are trying to pile underneath of that heater. I can't even keep the Govee in there because they just push it out of the way trying to get over to the heat. Now what I've learned over the years and been taught, and everybody else seems to say, is that your heat is everything. If your birds are running around, they're happy with their heat source. If they're all bunched up underneath of the heat, they're not getting enough heat. This thing doesn't put out enough. You can crank that heater all the way up. It will get to 101 degrees directly underneath of the heater. That's not adequate, because as soon as the birds get 3 inches away, it's 80 degrees. They're cold. The heater is inadequate altogether. So, the feed trays, garbage. The feed trough, garbage. these water that they send with these things, man, it's same thing I have to say about these. If you want to fill this up every couple hours, and they do send 2 of them, you want to fill them up every couple hours, that's on you. I'm trying to be as hands-off with my birds as possible because I got a full-time job, I got family, I got plenty of other things to be doing than to be sitting in here babysitting this brooder. Okay, feed trough, feed trays, water, heater, all garbage. Also an extreme annoyance to me. So I currently have an LED bulb in here because it doesn't need to produce any heat because supposedly the heater does that. I come out here several times a day and this bulb is out just because they stretch their wings and they bump it. And then I gotta come in here and tap it and get it to come back on. I want to be able to see what's going on there. That's the whole purpose of the light, is being able to see what's going on. And I come in here and the light's off, and immediately you're thinking, oh, did the breaker trip? Is the heater on? Do I have dead chicks? What is going on? No, it's just it turns on and off. No, hard pass. Next thing that annoys the crap out of me, so if you're using these waterers, I couldn't explain to you how, but the chicks can spill these. They get water outside of it. And this brooder is shipped with little plastic mats that lay in the bottom. Now, the way that I brood my chicks is I will lay down Scott blue shop towels, usually for the first week. And that's what they get their legs on. English is hard. That'll prevent splay leg. Let them get their muscles built up in their legs. This comes with plastic mats, which they do have a grid on it, which is good for building up the leg muscle. They got a solid surface to work on. Problem with that is, as soon as they spill these waterers, that water gets on top of a piece of plastic. There's nowhere for it to go. You now have exposed water in the hutch. The moment a chick lays down in it, he's immediately chilled. And with an inadequate heater, he can't get warmed back up. I've lost at least 20 chicks from getting wet with these waterers, the plastic trays that ship with this, and the inadequate heater. That is an automatic no for me. That was a big problem on the first 2 runs of chicks. I pulled those mats out and I put Scott's towels in here. I did not lose any more chicks due to them getting wet. I did lose chicks from them not having adequate heat. The smaller chicks that hatch like a day later than the others, because I always incubate my eggs and I'll leave the eggs in the incubator after I pull out the first batch of hatched chicks. I'll leave the rest of the eggs for 3 days. If any more hatch, they go right into the brooder. Those chicks are usually smaller because the other ones obviously got a couple days head start. They get pushed to the outside. They don't have enough heat. They're gone. That's a loss. Every loss matters to me when I'm raising meat birds. So the plastic mats, automatic no-go. The hole size in the floor in here, the first 2 batches, I had no issues. It kind of replicates having a wire floor, so you have a self-cleaning brooder. You know, the whole idea with having the droppings tray below it. I don't know what it is about this plastic, but the chick poop sticks to it. And then it closes up the opening. And then it can't self-clean. So I've got a mountain of poop here, and a mountain of poop over here, and then a giant empty space because the brooder itself is filling up with poop. And of course, now all my chicks have poop built up on their feet. That's a whole other issue. So, the mats, garbage. The feeding trough, garbage. The feeding trays, garbage. The watering system, garbage. The light bulb, garbage. The heater, garbage. Okay, what do I have that's positive to say about this particular brooder? The watering system works okay. I wish it was more adjustable, that it could get down lower so that the chicks could get to it earlier, so that I'm not having to run watering cups, which, by the way, this was the first batch of chicks and second batch. I don't use these anymore. I have traditional, you know, the tall quail waterers, which currently those birds are using, and the ones out back. So I don't have any to show you, but it's just a traditional watering jar. That's what I use for the watering system in here, and they need to be at least, I would say, 2 weeks old before they're tall enough to reach the water cups in the back. I wish it was lower so they could get to it sooner, so that I'm not out here twice a day filling up the water jugs that I have to put in here. So the water system works, yes. It doesn't work to my standards. The next issue I have with the watering system, this fitting over here is just 2 O-rings, and this is just like some nylon tubing. It doesn't seal at all. The O-rings don't seal. If you tighten it down too much, it'll leak. If you loosen it off too much, it'll leak. There's like a sweet spot. This is why all of my automatic watering systems, I did the exact same thing, but they're silicone sealed in place, so they're not removable. Well, that's one issue, is the O-ring leaking here. You guys can't see it, but right there's a water drip hanging. That's because the barb fittings on both the tank fitting and on the water cup fitting in the back, they both leak. It's a barb fitting. I don't even know how that happens. I put hose clamps on it that did cure it for a little while, and then it started leaking around the hose clamp. Like, I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. I have definitely come to enjoy just having solid half-inch PVC lines for my brooders, for my grow-out cages, for my layers. Half-inch PVC pipe. It doesn't leak, and also has a lot more flow. Another issue I have when it comes to cleaning this system with the waterer, so it's not that easy to pull that hose off, so the tank just kind of sits there as I'm cleaning it. Well, if this hose gets air in it, it is a turd to get that air bled out of it and get the waterers to work again. All of my other watering systems, all you do is push the nipple down and it'll push out any air that's trapped and it'll start flowing water. These don't. I don't know what exactly it is, but because the line is black, I can't see the water inside of it. The one system I have right now that's running nylon tubing, I'm running clear hose on it so I can see what's going on. And at least with that one, the issue is I'll get an air pocket trapped, and I can grab the hose and pump it like a primer bulb, and it will purge the air out. I did that for like 25 minutes to get this thing to purge out the air, and I ended up taking this fitting off and manually filling the hose to reprime it so that the water cups would work. That's that annoyance, okay? Maybe it works for most people. I've seen so many positive reviews about this brooder that I went out of my way to go find it, and I haven't found a single piece of this whole system that works. It just doesn't. I got it secondhand for $100. They're normally like $210, $230. In no way is it worth it. In no way is it worth it. I have to use my own feeders. So the ones that came with it, no good. I have to use my own waterers. So the one that came with it, no good. I've lost chicks because of the heat. I can't see what's going on because the light turns off. The self-cleaning floor doesn't work. Maybe this is just my experience. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I've ran 120 birds through it so far. And no, I'm going back to my homemade brooder. I've actually upgraded it now with an automatic watering system, and next it'll have an automatic feeder. This is a no. This is a hard pass for me. A traditional heat lamp, a traditional water, a traditional feeder, and any container. Just go to Walmart and get a plastic tote. It would do a better job than this. Like, one of the whole reasons I wanted to build my own brooder was I wanted this self-cleaning floor. This has that integrated. And it doesn't work. Like, it's... Okay, I'm going to get the light bulb to work. I'll bring you guys in and show you how much of a mess this is. I just pulled birds out of it. They're 2.5 weeks old. Look at the amount of poop that's in there. That section hasn't clogged, and that section hasn't clogged. That's it. You can see mountain. I can see the floor. Mountain. That shouldn't be a thing. Okay, another one of the complaints I have about this brooder. If you have this guard, it's supposed to be able to flip, and it will cover up these holes so that you're not using the feed trough. It doesn't close tight enough. Why do I know that? Because I've had multiple chicks escape from this brooder. They are able to push this out of the way, and they drop down and they land right here. That is, there's in no way is that acceptable, that you build a brooder that chicks can get out of. And this is only one location that they're getting out of. They can get out through these openings with this flipped. I even tried putting the feed trough on and locking this down inside of it. They ended up landing right here in the feed tray. They're no longer in the brooder. They don't have food. They don't have water. They don't have heat. Very short time they expire. So 1, 2, 3 massive escape holes. Another one that I had a problem with, in the back corner where the water line comes in, there's a triangle shaped-ish cutout. It's low enough and it's popped out so you could have the water on either side. It's low enough that a chick can actually hop through it. Because after I closed these off, what I ended up doing, I took cardboard and taped across the opening here so the chicks couldn't get out. I still had 3 chicks get out between 2 different hatches. The only other opening is where that water line comes in. Okay, so the brooder doesn't hold the chicks in. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? This is so stupid. That should not be able to happen at all. I've lost way too many chicks because they escaped from the brooder. There's no reason. None. Okay, the next thing is, in my attempt to make this serviceable, and after blocking everything off with cardboard and tape to keep the chicks in, because of that inadequate heater, the only thing I could do to try to keep this thing up to temp, I have a blanket out here, and I would drape it over the whole brooder. And the only reason I knew it was working was because the Gobi has an app that I can use on my phone, and I can see what the temperature is inside the brooder without having to take the towel or the blanket off to see what's going on and what the temperature is. That shouldn't be a thing. I shouldn't have to try to forcefully heat the brooder that chicks are escaping from and can't use the watering and feeding systems. This is probably the biggest piece of Chinese garbage I've ever bought. Ever. There's absolutely nothing I am happy with this about. Nothing at all. I would rather part this thing out for the watering cups, which aren't worth a damn if you had to just buy them. They're a couple dollars. That's the only good thing. And a removable water tank. I just use 5-gallon buckets and the Rent-A-Coop nipples for all the rest of my birds. I don't, there's no way I can justify what this thing costed new. If I had bought this new, I would be sending it back with a scathing letter and review. Because I bought it used, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let it go. I've learned a lesson. I will not be buying anything else from this company. I hope you guys got something out of that. I really appreciate you guys watching. Maybe I can help you make a few less mistakes when you go to start raising your own birds. Don't buy this piece of crap. Thanks for watching.